Tanse. Good evening. I'm Kristinashkate. Welcome to APTN National News. Thank you for joining us. People gathered in the Winnipeg neighborhood of St. Boniface on Sunday to commemorate the 140th anniversary of Louis Riel's death. Among the speakers was Prime Minister Mark Carney, the first sitting Prime Minister to attend the November 16th ceremony. APTN's Fraser Needham starts us off.
The weather was perfect for the Prime Minister as he laid a wreath at Riel's tomb. He then told the assembled crowd Riel's legacy is as relevant today as it was in the late 1800s.
Well, reconciliation is a process as yet unfinished. Progress has been made, and the trajectory is encouraging. Partnership, open dialogue, building together are how we must move forward. It's how we can fulfill the vision of the man we're here today to commemorate. And it's how we will honor the legacy of Louis Riel.
Riel was executed in November 1885 for his role in leading Metis and First Nations people in the Northwest Rebellion. His execution has long been a black mark against then Prime Minister Sir John A. Macdonald and the Canadian government. The significance of the current Prime Minister speaking at a commemoration for Riel was not lost on Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew.
And the reason why it's so significant to welcome a sitting Prime Minister is because in Riel's day, the Prime Minister of Canada was calling for Riel's execution. And here we are 7 generations later, the Prime Minister of Canada is here to pay respect and to honor Louis Riel. And that shows us that Riel's work is not done. His legacy is alive in our time.
Manitoba Métis Federation President David Chartrand spoke about the ongoing tariff and annexation threats of U.S. President Donald Trump and how Riel would have responded to the current crisis.
Why am I talking about all this stuff this way? Not talking about Riel itself? Because that's what Riel would have been doing if he was standing here today. He would have been standing for United Canada. He would have been standing for what's good and what's just. And he would have damn well stood to make sure that Canada was protected against and with all costs necessary to defend the people of Manitoba and Canada.
Riel is now widely regarded as the father of the province of Manitoba. Fraser Needham, APTN National News, Ottawa.
November 16th is Louis Riel Day, and every year the Métis dance company Venez Danser throws a big party in Vancouver. Our Ryan Cunningham took part in the celebrations during this year's 20th anniversary.
Vancouver-based dance company Venez Danser has honored Louis Riel and his sacrifice for equal rights in Canada. We talked to the company's founder and artistic director, Yvonne Chartrand.
You know, it's not very often that you have somebody that gives up their life for their people to live, first of all, and you know, it's very heartbreaking what happened in the end. Louis Riel was a peace-loving man, and he only wanted to work with the Canadian government at the time.
On November 16th, 1885, Louis Riel was hung for treason by the Canadian government after he led the Northwest Rebellion in Saskatchewan. He was the only person charged with treason and executed after the Métis and some Cree fighters lost the Battle of Batoche.
What I wanted to do was to create a Michif worldview, so for the Métis people to have like a platform, a space to share our culture, our joy, our love, the beauty of our culture, and tell our stories, share our stories through dance.
I talked with some of the dancers about what to expect at their event.
Yvonne's always done like a Métis variety show, so it's exciting to have all that together, and usually we have a pretty strong Métis crowd, so almost everyone comes and dances with us afterwards.
For the 20th anniversary, Yvonne flew in renowned Métis author and activist Maria Campbell and the world-class Métis fiddler Gary Lapine. Maria Campbell and Yvonne created the first Louis Riel Day celebration 20 years ago, and Yvonne is still carrying on the tradition.
It's that community. It's about bringing people together, building bridges, and just healing our people, healing ourselves, and, you know, just bringing joy to people of all nations.
In 1992, Louis Riel was declared the founder of Manitoba, and in 2023, he was named the first honorary premier. Venez Danser isn't just a name for Yvonne's company, it's also her battle cry. In Michif, it means come and dance. Ryan Cunningham for APTN National News, Vancouver.
The Vatican says it has returned several artifacts connected to Canada's Indigenous peoples. It is the latest steps towards reconciliation between the Catholic Church and First Nations and Indigenous communities in Canada. A total of 62 artifacts are said to have been returned to the Canadian Conference of Catholic Bishops. The CCCB says it will transfer the Indigenous items to the various national Indigenous organizations. The items had been sent to Rome as part of the 1925 exhibition held by then Pope Pius XI. The late Pope Francis issued an apology in Rome in 2022 for the Catholic Church's role in the abuse Indigenous people experienced in residential schools. That same year, Pope Francis called Canada's residential school system a genocide and gave a similar apology in Musqueam, Alberta, and Iqaluit, Nunavut. The newly elected MLA for Cambridge Bay and Nunavut is raising the alarm on an epidemic of drugs and violence in the community. As APTN's Justin Hardy tells us, the community is hoping for territorial support.
MLA Fred Peterson, who won the Cambridge Bay seat with 55% of the vote last month, says the people in his community are seriously impacted by the growing rate of drugs and violent crime. Peterson says this became more apparent while he was on the campaign trail.
When I was putting up campaign signs, I was using a screw gun that, as it gets closer in, it kind of knocks a bit, right? And I was outside doing that on one of the buildings, and 3 doors opened up with people coming to check what was going on. Coincidentally, in that same building, there was some drug dealers from down south, and one of them shot a handgun on the floor in one of those units. So, you know, they were quite on edge.
There's only one way in and out of the remote community of Cambridge Bay, and that's by airplane. From most destinations outside of Nunavut, passengers and cargo are held to the same standard of security as traveling anywhere else in the country. But Peterson says there's one glaring opening that needs to be addressed.
From Yellowknife going to any of our communities, including coming here or to Rankin Inlet, there's no security screening required. You just hop on an airplane, and then, you know, from Rankin Inlet you can get into any community without security screening, and from Iqaluit you can get into any Kikikdani community without screening too. So anybody can get into any community in Nunavut without security screening right now.
Peterson is in Iqaluit along with every other MLA for orientation and to choose their next territorial leadership. He hopes that this newly forming government will take the concerns of his community seriously, including his concern for more security at airports in the north.
You know, I'd like to see passengers coming into the community, leaving Yellowknife, to have to go through security screening, and possibly even trying to lobby the NWT government to do border screening at their borders with vehicles coming in.
Justin Hardy, APTN National News, Iqaluit.
A special ceremony was recently held on Vancouver's downtown east side to recognize 9 Indigenous community leaders on behalf of the British monarchy. APTN's Tina House was there and brings us this report.
It was a red carpet draped in cedar as 9 community leaders were awarded the King Charles III Coronation Medal in honor of their work helping others. Bernie Williams and Gladys Raddick co-founded the Walk for Tears. Along with other family members who have lost loved ones or have gone missing, they've walked across Canada 7 times to raise public awareness about the murdered and missing. They had mixed emotions in accepting the Coronation medals.
I had lots of hesitation on this, just mixed feelings, still do, but I spoke with the elders and they just said, accept it.
Gladys, how are you feeling about this medal you received today?
It's a piece of metal. I was very hesitant about it too, again, because of what it represents, King Charles Coronation Medal, and it feels good to be acknowledged for the work that we've been doing, and for him to put some oomph into it and start paying attention to the 231 calls to justice, and the BC Women's Report, and the Highway of Tears Report, and the Truth and Conciliation. Start doing something about those, and then it'll really mean something to me.
However, despite Gladys and Bernie's take on the medals, the other recipients, Elder Mary Point, Maureen LeGras-Brown, Nicole Bird, Angela McDougall, Ellen Woodsworth, Gary Jobin, and Chris Livingstone, the honor means a lot to them. Senator Michelle Audette traveled here from Quebec to present the medals on behalf of the Crown.
To agree from the Governor General office if we want to give medals. My journey started there, and I was thinking, should I? And then I said, why not? So 22 person across Canada, and at the end, how they will receive it, it's a yes or no, but it belongs to them, the decision. And my statement that day when I was praying and wondering, what do I do? It's, the King will know that they exist.
The 9 of you, you are change makers for Indigenous people of Canada. To receive this award, you must have made a significant change for Canada, for your province, for your territory, for your region. And I raise my hands to the 9 of you because you are the change makers for the next 7 generations of Indigenous people.
Tina House, APTN National News, Vancouver.
More is being done in the north to deal with the addiction crisis. That story when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Today, the Manitoba government showed media its almost completed 72-hour detox facility in Winnipeg. The centrally located facility will be used to hold people coming down from substances like alcohol or methamphetamines if they cause disturbances in public. The 20 units, also called protective care cells, are roughly 10 by 10 feet in size, and each has their own toilet and sink. Beds will be added prior to the opening of the facility. Each unit has a security camera streaming to an office nearby for observation. The facility will open at the end of the month, first for people intoxicated by alcohol, and then those high on other substances like methamphetamines a month or 2 later. There will be 3 licensed paramedics on duty 24 hours a day, along with mental health and addiction support workers. Addictions Minister Bernadette Smith says they plan to open similar facilities in Brandon and Thompson, modeled after Winnipeg's.
We want to have people access those supports. There's too much stigma around substance use and people not being able to get the care that they need. And for far too long, what we've been doing has not been working. And we're taking, a different approach because Manitobans have said they don't feel safe in their communities. We know that people aren't feeling safe when they're doing substances either, and we want to intervene. And this is an intervention that's going to help keep people safe, help keep people who are using safe, and get them to the supports that they need.
The Northwest Territories is hosting a variety of events for National Addictions Awareness Week. Our reporter Charlotte Moore-Jacobs has that story.
Olivia Willia is 5.5 years sober. She's thinking of friends and family who are still struggling, but remains hopeful, surrounding herself with others in solidarity for the National Addictions Awareness Week March, organized by the Tree of Peace in Yellowknife.
That step of reaching out, really wanting it, because you can say that you want to get sober, but to actually do it, it's hard.
According to the latest national statistics from 2023 to 2024, the rate of hospitalizations entirely caused by alcohol and the rate of police-reported drug offenses in the NWT was over 4 times the national average. There has been no permanent inpatient treatment center since 2013, but residents are sent down south for programs free of charge. That's if they know where to turn to for help. The Territorial 2024 Mental Wellness and Addictions Recovery Survey showed only 61% of respondents had heard of community counseling, and 35% were aware of other supports, like facility-based addictions treatment.
Bonus first, heal our people.
This year's theme for addictions awareness is called Anchoring Hope. a message evident from demonstrators.
It's about moving forward and believing in yourself.
Tree of Peace Indigenous youth worker Christina Moore says youth in particular can be vulnerable to feeling isolated because of technology.
So that connection piece and community piece is really important. So coming out for different cultural activities I think is really important.
Adjacent to the Tree of Peace, construction on a wellness and recovery center to deliver programs currently offered through the Sobering Center and Day Shelter, scheduled to open late 2026. In the meantime, the Tree of Peace will be sharing information and getting input from a community roundtable held here tonight, specifically on aftercare programs. A conversation Willia is happy to have.
Well, I think that we need a lot more of the on-the-land stuff for sure. I just think we need a lot more aftercare programs because I work here at the Tree of Peace as a receptionist, so I hear people saying that they, what happens when they get back.
Charlotte Mort-Jacobs, APTN National News, Yellowknife.
We want to hear what you think about that exact story you just saw. Here's how to continue the conversation with us. If you have a story you want to share, send us an email to news@aptn.ca. And to read and watch our stories, go to aptnnews.ca. You can also find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. Photo of the day and weather is up next, plus we'll take you to a recent art exhibit in Saskatoon. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. It's that time again for Photo of the Day. The Northern Lights were out in full force last week, seen by many across Turtle Island. Here's a photo taken by Robbie Williamson last Friday in Grassy Narrows First Nation in Ontario. Thank you, Robbie, for sharing with us. Do you have a photo you want to see here? Send it to us at share@aptn.ca and you may just get your wish. Time now for tomorrow's weather forecast. On the East Coast, St. John's sunny and 9, Charlottetown 4. The Grand River 1, Nuujawak 1. Montreal partly cloudy and 1, Quebec City 1. London +4, Ottawa +2 and sunny. Timmins -1, Sudbury 3. Churchill -4, God's Lake, sun's out there and -2. 3 in Gimli, Dauphin 4. North Battleford 1, cloudy in Saskatoon and +2. Uranium City, sunny and -7, Buffalo Narrows -2. -6 and sunny and high level, Fort McMurray -4. 2 in Calgary and 2 in Red Deer. Tofino 8, cloudy in Vancouver at 6. Fort Nelson -3, Smithers -1. Mayo -9, Old Crow -13. Sun's out in Watee at -12, Norman Wells -11. Fort McPherson -14, Colville Lake -6. Cambridge Bay -18, Chesterfield -2. And Arctic Bay -14 and Igloolik -8. To celebrate 20 years as an organization, the Indigenous Curatorial Collective recently hosted a 4-day celebration. Indigenous curators and artists from around the world gathered in Saskatoon and Regina to experience and discuss art made in Saskatchewan. APTN video journalist Rachel May was at the Saskatoon event.
Similar to Indigenous artists here, back home we have a beautiful relationship to past making practices and connecting them to technology and tools that we have here in the present, and understanding how we can make those connections backwards and forwards simultaneously with the artwork that's being produced.
Zoe Black is the Deputy Director of Object Space in Tamaki Makoto, Aotearoa, what the Maori call Auckland, New Zealand. She and a number of Maori curators are in Saskatchewan to see the Sky Watching the Future exhibit, presented by the Indigenous Curatorial Collective. The event brings together Indigenous curators from around the world to Saskatoon and Regina to learn about Indigenous art on the northern plains of Turtle Turtle Island. Chloe Cull is a curator at Christchurch Art Gallery in New Zealand. She says there are shared connections between Indigenous artists globally.
That relationship with land and the environment is something that endures. It's not sort of the past. And while because of our colonial histories, it might be relationships that need to be re-explored and rediscovered, but they have and always will be true to who Indigenous people are.
Joy Arcand is from the Muskeg Lake Cree Nation north of Saskatoon. She has pieces in both the Ramey Modern Art Gallery in Saskatoon and the Mackenzie Art Gallery in Regina. She wouldn't speak on camera, but did take time to explain her piece to APTN off camera. This one was inspired by a conversation between two women from the Muskeg Lake Cree Nation speaking about how the ripening of choke cherries marks the beginning of a change of seasons. It will be at the Ramey for the next 5 years. Her piece at the Mackenzie Art Gallery in Regina features a series of family photos. It will be up until March 22nd, 2026. Skywatching the Future panels, workshops, and artist talks follow the Saskatoon event at the Mackenzie Art Gallery. Rachel May, APTN National News, Saskatoon.
And finally for us, after a 12-year drought, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have won the 2025 Grey Cup in Winnipeg. They defeated the Montreal Alouettes 25-17 and are bringing home the cup to celebrate. This was Saskatchewan's 5th Grey Cup win, with previous titles back in 1966, 1989, 2007, and 2013. The Roughriders and Winnipeg Blue Bombers have a long-standing feud, so after the Riders won on Manitoba soil, the Blue Bombers marked the funny moment with a funny social media post saying, "Well, at least the sun will explode one day and none of this will matter." The Riders left Manitoba and returned to Regina for a welcome home ceremony where players spoke briefly and the cup was put on display for all the Rider fans. A championship parade will be held in Regina this Tuesday at 2 p.m. It will start from Mosaic Stadium, then it will go south on Albert Street and end at the Saskatchewan Legislature. Regina was also announced as the host city for the 2027 Grey Cup, with the 2026 Cup being played in Calgary. I was also in the stadium for that big Rider win last night, and I gotta tell you, it was a lot of fun if you were a Rider fan. And that's your evening newscast for this Monday. We're back again with more stories for tomorrow's daytime newscast. Please join us then. Hai hai miigwech masicho. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next day.